I don't care if you're trying to shred body fat and get a six pack, or if you're trying to build muscle without getting fat. The perfect workout plan and the perfect diet plan are pretty much useless without this. Your mind controls way more than you think. You can actually control your metabolism and really any other marker of your health with your mind. There's all sorts of ways that it can help you, but it can also hurt you. There's the placebo and then there's the nocebo. So two sides of the same spectrum where, take for example, the voodoo death. This is something that was studied by Walter Cannon back in the 40s. These people in these tribes in these tropical islands down in the Caribbean, whether it was Haiti or wherever, people that went to see a witch doctor or a voodoo doctor of some sort, and they were told that they got cursed and they were eventually going to pass away from death from this curse. What do you think happened to those people? What do you think that belief turned into down the road for them? This is a great example of how your body will reflect whatever your mind expects. So these people that thought that they got a curse, so to speak, they basically just withered away and died. There's a couple of things and a couple of reasons for why that is. Number one is probably just the fact that they gave up. So they stopped feeding themselves, they stopped exercising, stopped sleeping, stopped eating, and just everything good that they needed to do for themselves, they just omitted, and everything bad that they were already doing to themselves, they just kept doing more of. Now, that's one side of it. But then there's also the belief side of it, right? Why do you think out of all cancer patients, the ones who have the will to beat the cancer actually end up defeating the illness, defeating the disease? It's because of the mindset. It's because your reticular activation system is going to be focused on the things and the opportunities for you to improve your health or improve your situation. It's getting kind of dark here. I thought I was going to catch the sunset, but I guess not. You can kind of see it there. I'm out here out back at my house in New York. But in any case, the people that wanted to beat the cancer, they did. Or at least the majority of them had a greater chance of doing so, right? Versus the people that just accepted defeat and accepted their death. Eventually, that came to pass, right? So it's the same thing with the voodoo death, where you give up, you don't help yourself, but then there's also the negative aspects of your mindset, which will affect your physiology. It's a two-way street, right? Your physiology will affect your emotions and your psychology, right? That's why people do a power pose. You ever see somebody do, they put their arms up in the air and they stay there for 2 minutes and they get a rush of endorphins or whatever they say that actually happens there. And they end up getting a rush of positivity and energy, and then they're able to crush whatever it was that they had lined up, whether it was a speech or if it was a sport or whatever, right? So in that same way that your physiology can affect your psychology and your emotions and your psychology can also affect your physiology. If you want to go really into this, you can look at just search up light energy as it affects your mitochondria. So your thoughts about what's happening to your body will affect you on a cellular level. I know this seems kind of crazy and it's a little bit outlandish. A lot of people will disagree, but a lot of people will agree. And who do you think is going to get the benefit of it? The people that agree, the people that assume and believe that their mindset will affect their physiology. All right? So in the voodoo death, these people, yes, they did give up. They did just kind of accept defeat and start hurting themselves, point blank. But they also increased stress through either cortisol, estrogen, adrenaline, all these stress hormones which are antagonistic to your reproductive hormones, things like your thyroid hormone, your testosterone, right? Dopamine, right? If dopamine plummets, prolactin goes up. When prolactin goes up, you get a sense of lethargy, low energy, hopelessness, grogginess, brain fog, can't think straight. Your metabolism is affected by your thyroid. So if your thyroid hormones are plummeting and you can't convert any of these hormones into energy, what do you think happens to your mindset? It starts to plummet, right? I mean, what do you think happens to your hormone economy? It starts to tank. Like, this is real stuff. This is, I almost said S-H-I, you know what. Try not to curse. It's really tough. I used to work construction. I worked in a bar for many years. Plus, I'm a guy's guy, right? So, like, anyway, you basically will shoot yourself in the foot either way through that nocebo effect. Putting this camera right up on my face. I should have done this earlier. But yeah, so like, if you give up, you're gonna lose. Why would you somehow walk into a winning scenario if you gave up on a mindset level? The reason that Tom Brady can come back from whatever amount of points down and somehow finish the game in a positive balance, like, you know, with the winning scoring, with the winning scoreboard, right? That sounded retarded. Now I'm cursing. The reason that Tom Brady can come back from when he's down and eventually win the game is because of his determination to win, his determination to succeed, his determination to actually follow through on the goal that he had intended was going to come to fruition, right? I'm saying this in a bunch of colorful different ways, but he had the mindset of a winner. The mindset of a loser predicts losing. The mindset of a winner predicts winning. It's the same thing with your health. If you think that your health is bad, you're going to have bad health. This is why I will never accept a diagnosis. I had a guy walk up to me in the gym about maybe like a month or two ago, and he runs up to me and he's like, dude, I follow all your stuff, been doing the gut bucket, the caveman cereal, everything. I can't remember his name right now. I saw him walking around in my city too. He had this giant black lab, which I used to have a black lab when I was growing up. His name was Frodo. All right, side note, sorry. But anyway, he runs up to me. He's like, dude, I've been eating all your stuff. I actually I don't want to give the entire credit to you, but stuff like the gut bucket, where I started working on my digestive system and my gut microbiome, that really reversed a diagnosis that I got, a certain amount of months ago. Like, I literally went in, they told me that I had Crohn's disease and I was gonna have to get part of my intestines cut out. So I don't want to do surgery. I don't want to start taking medication or whatever. So that's when I started focusing on more health content. Your stuff pops up. I start following your stuff, a couple other people as well. And then I come back like a couple of months later and they're like, oh, seems it's gone. When in reality, they were going to cut part of his body out instead of focusing on holistic remedies to improve the situation. Your body can heal from anything. Now that's just a situation where, yeah, he did get a diagnosis and he reversed it through these different, diet and health measures, through exercise and probably sleep as well, and all sorts of other things which affect the gut, right? But there's also the fact that, they gave him a diagnosis. They told him, you're going to have to get surgery to fix this. Most people think that that's it. There's no chance, no shot that I'm going to be able to fix this. No chance that I'm going to be able to have a different outcome other than cutting out part of my body. Does anybody understand how ludicrous this is? Nobody in the medical field knows how to treat issues at the root cause. They are not there to heal you. They are there to prescribe medicine. A doctor doesn't know anything about diet. They get like a tiny bit of nutrition education. It's like 20 minutes over the course of 12 years. It's probably not that cut and dry, but it's like a fraction of those 12 years that they're in school, right? So, with that said, somebody that you go into the doctor's office for a routine checkup or whatever, right? You tell them about some symptoms. They're not there to ask you about your diet, your health, how your mind is going. They're just there to prescribe you a pill or give you some sort of a medication, or tell you that you need some sort of a surgery, right? About 2 years ago almost, in about a month or two, it'll be 2 years, I herniated a disc in my low back, and I had foot drop. I couldn't dorsiflex my foot. Like when my heel touched the ground, it would just slap, my toe would slap on the ground involuntarily, and I couldn't pick it up when I was taking the next step. This is a telltale sign of nerve damage, or what would eventually become nerve damage if I didn't fix it. Everybody was telling me, oh dude, you're gonna get surgery, there's no way to get around this, gonna be a 2-year recovery, you're never gonna deadlift again, all this different crazy stuff. All I did was start building my body up like paper mache in those damaged or sensitive areas. Just started re-strengthening my body, stretching, strengthening. On top of that, the mindset with the proper diet and all these different things that I brought together. And I healed myself in a matter of weeks. When most people are bedridden, like 5 days after the injury, I literally hobble into the gym. I can't even put my feet down on bench press because hyperextending my back was driving like electricity down my spine, down into my foot, right? So a few weeks later, I'm hitting 315 on deadlift. I did this it was like 455 on deadlift. I was supposed to get like 2 or 3 reps. Didn't happen. A couple inches off the floor, I heard a giant pop and a pulse shot down my leg into my foot. And I didn't know what the hell happened, but after getting a couple of different what do you call it? Opinions, I guess. It was pretty evident that I had a L5S1 disc herniation, and a lot of people were telling me I was going to have to do surgery or there was going to be some lengthy rehab process. After a long time of searching, I found all these different ways to heal myself. But I will say, even through all the workout and the diet advice that I went through, it was my mind that was the deciding factor on whether or not I actually healed myself. And this is the same thing with your biology, with your hormone economy, your anabolic economy, as I like to say. And this is why I'm always all about increasing reproductive hormones, aka your anabolic hormones, and decreasing your stress hormones, right? Your catabolic hormones, let's say. Now, do you want 0 stress hormones? No, right? Just like you don't want all of your reproductive hormones to be like maxed out on the other side, right? It's because there's a balance, there's a certain economy, everything works together, everything affects everything. But with that said, you can definitely set yourself up for success in getting your levels in an optimal fashion, right? And that's going to allow you to have the right mindset to perform in your day-to-day activities so that you can do more, be more for the people around you, and to just enjoy your life, right? Like, what's all this diet and workout stuff good for if not living a better life? Like, we're trying to leverage our health to get more out of life, not the other way around. And if you're focusing too much on health and too much on diet, exercise, and all the different biohacks that you could do, you are going to stress yourself out more than you really need to, which is going to affect your health. This is a very complicated and nuanced point and issue that I'm talking about here. It's because, yeah, on one sense, I am telling you, like, live an anabolic lifestyle. Animal-based diet, anabolic priming diet, right? 3 days a week of weight training, sleeping like a baby every night, eliminating seed oils, eliminating toxins from your environment, right? Getting sunlight, getting grounding daily, living a purposeful life, all these different things. But with that said, if your mind isn't on par with all the other anabolic things that you're doing in your day-to-day life, you're just going to be shooting yourself in the foot. You're going to be driving yourself crazy because you're trying to force it. You're trying to force it through the metrics, right? And there's a certain level of that's got to get done. But I'm sure you guys can see and have witnessed other people who they have no clue what they're talking about regarding diet. They're not really working out or anything, and somehow they're able to bypass all these health problems, which other people who are locked in on their diet and their training and all this different stuff, like, Why is somebody who's putting more effort in getting less results? It's because they have a limiting mindset. There's this relationship between using power and using force. There's a David Hawkins book about this, Power versus Force. And this is like nowadays, looking at it through a different lens, like through a God-focused lens, this is using the Holy Spirit versus, and not using the Holy Spirit, but embodying Christ versus being pharisaical, right? You don't want to be pharisaical about your fitness. You don't want to be pharisaical about your health and your diet. You don't want to be so scared of seed oils when you're out and about to eat with your family and stuff, right? The reason I was talking about how some people can just totally transcend these they can totally bypass health problems even though they're living a terrible lifestyle is because their mind is focused on the right things. Take the cliche old Italian man, or I'm in the Greek Orthodox Church, so I would say an old Greek man. You know, back in Greece, dude's out in the sunlight daily, no sunscreen. He's not really even grounding. He's probably smoking cigarettes, crushing coffee all day long. He's eating a pretty good diet, and he's actually probably smoking heavier than most people. But why, when he's eating probably subtly processed food, not grounding, probably not even exercising a ton, getting a lot of sunlight and all these different things that they tell you are not great, he's able to live to be like 100 years old. If you ever want to really look into this, Google blue zone, or if you're using AI, search up blue zones. This is where people live to be 100 years old or more. It's actually kind of crazy. In these environments, people are heavily smoking, and what's going on here is their nutritious diet and their lifestyle coming down to their mind, and mostly, in my opinion, and what I've seen, is it's the deep family and social connection that they experience on a day-to-day basis. They're not worried about their six-pack. They're not worried about their tests. They're not worried about their cortisol or seed oils or any of this crap. They are focusing on living intentionally, living in God's green earth. They are embodying what it means to be a human. And the guy that's trying to not lose, right? The biohacker, the Brian Johnson type individual who's trying to escape all the poisons and toxins that the world is throwing at him, and not disregarding any of that. It's pretty screwed up what we have to deal with. But honestly, in the same token, it's pretty easy to avoid this stuff if you know what to look for. And that's what I do on my channel, and on my Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, at Garrett_Salem. But in any case, these guys, they're not focused on all the negatives. They're focused on the positives, and they are just living authentically at the end of the day. And they're not really even, since they're not focused on it, there's not that tension up top, and so their body relaxes. Their light energy is working efficiently. Their mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell, they're like an anabolic powerhouse without even trying. And that's kind of the key. It's like, you ever play like MLB on back in the day I had MLB 07 on PS2. I don't know what game they have now, but when you're pitching, it's like you got to press the whatever whatever button it was down for enough time for it to get somewhere near the pitch zone, so where you can end up in the strike zone, right? But you can't hold it too long because otherwise you'll throw it off the plate, right? So it's like you got to have just enough control in your diet, your workouts, your sleep, and all these different things which are setting you up for success. But you also can't be too tied to the outcome. You can't be so focused on your test, your thyroid, your metabolism, your gut health, right? You can't be so focused on your mental health daily. You notice how the most unhappy people are always focused on their mental health? It's like the guy that grows up being really good with women, and it always just works out for him, right? He walks into a bar, all the girls flock to him or whatever, and he's got that gift of gab, the $1 million mouthpiece, right? He walks into a room, he's just got it. Everybody knows this type of person. If you try to ask him how he's doing all this, he can't explain it for his life, right? He can't explain it in any way, shape, or form. He's just like, Yeah, just be funny. Yeah, just like, just talk to him. Go up and treat him like a real person. Just be yourself. This is what people will say. Be yourself. Whereas this guy is being his best self, but he doesn't know how to articulate it. I'm not saying that you shouldn't know how your hormone economy works and how diet, exercise, and all these different things I keep repeating affect your physiology and affect your hormonal health so you can transform from the inside out. But what I am saying is that you want to get this stuff just enough in check so that it falls to the background. When I'm eating the gut bucket or the caveman cereal, or I'm having my ice cream at night, from Miller's Biofarm, so it's 100% grass-fed A2 milk, pasture-raised egg yolks, maple syrup, sea salt, and vanilla bean powder, like that's my anabolic ice cream. It's a superfood I have every single night. When I'm eating this stuff, I'm not like, oh, this is totally boosting my test. I'm totally gonna have a high functioning metabolism when I'm done with this. Oh, my dopamine's gonna be through the roof. I'm gonna be wired tomorrow. I'm not doing a diet. I'm not doing a workout plan. I'm not doing a biohacking protocol. I'm just doing it. I'm just living it. I'm not thinking about this stuff. I'm present. That is the real benefit of anabolic priming, is the presence that comes along with that. Yes, it can be a slippery slope, me getting you fixated on some of these things, which I do still think that you need to be aware of it. It's like how, yes, you need more knowledge. You should always be looking to become a lifelong learner. Like, you should be following other accounts on top of my own. You should be looking for more information, which potentially will confirm what I'm talking about, but you also might see stuff that will see it from a different life and help see it from a different life, a different perspective that will help you in your situation, which might be a little bit different than mine, right? I'm trying to help everybody, and obviously I do think that I can help everybody, or rather, my framework sets people up for the greatest success for a person who wants to do what I'm doing, right? Ultra marathon, David Goggins type individual, no pain, no gain. My stuff probably not going to work for him. Aspects of it will, but probably most of the 3-day-a-week training, just walking, no real cardio, eating lots of sugar, all these different things, which the average gym bro and average like maniac in the gym can't really like settle down enough to act out, right? I'm getting off track here, but going back to what I was saying about, like, you want to be aware of this stuff and you want to have as much knowledge as you possibly can. But with that said, you can't get pharisaical over it. It's like I'm an Orthodox Christian, so we a lot of the times will become prideful in the theology. Orthodox is the right answer, right? Like they've got it perfectly. You can become pharisaical about that. You can become prideful and and outward about the theology thing. Whereas, what is the purpose of the law, so to speak? There's no laws in orthodoxy. There's really guidelines, is what my priest will say, but it's the essence of the law that we're going after. It's like when Jesus came and was condemning the Pharisees, right? He wasn't saying they shouldn't follow the law. He said that they lost sight of what the law is really there for, right? That's why I said earlier, you don't want to be at the dinner table or out to dinner with your friends or your family for an anniversary, somebody's birthday party, or somebody just made a big achievement, like your buddy just hit a new record month with his business, or you just landed a giant deal and you're going out to dinner to celebrate with your boys or your family, right? You don't want to be like, oh, there's seed oils in here. You don't want to be virtue signaling at the dinner table, ruining everybody's time. You don't want, like, your wife makes you a home cooked meal, or your mom or your grandma, like whoever. Somebody makes you a home cooked meal. You start asking them for what the ingredients are. Oh, there's industrial starch in that. I'm not gonna eat that. You're killing my test, Grandma. You can't be that guy. Screw that guy. All right, I'll say it. With that said, yes, I am like the anabolic priming, like the epitome of the biohacker, right? Like that's my life. But I know when to not focus on that stuff, because again, I'm not trying to trade life for more health. I'm trying to leverage my health to get more out of life. And I think that you know, the thing that I wanted to mention earlier, I don't even know if it really applies. I was going to say that St. Paul mentions how we are judged based off our knowledge, right? Our conscience is, you know, I'm paraphrasing here. You will experience like your conscience and your vibe, so to speak, is what's going to dictate your health at the end of the day. It's not whether you have the perfect diet, the perfect workout. Brian Johnson just got diagnosed with like an immune disease, right? Like an autoimmune disease. Healthiest guy on earth, don't die is the name of his business. Telling people he's going to live to like 180 years old. That was David Asprey that said 180 years old, right? I can't believe I'm sitting here in the dark. I'm like right up against my phone where it's shining the light on my face. But yeah, that guy knows all the facts, all the metrics, all the tips to follow, still dealing with health problems. Versus the guy that doesn't know anything about testosterone or thyroid or T3 or T4, what your hemoglobin is, low cortisol. Like, they're not aware, and if they are aware, that's great, but they're not focused on it, and that's kind of the key. And this is how you can control your metabolism and control your health with your mind. This is how you can transcend eating bad food. When I go out to eat, and afterwards, me and my friends go and get ice cream, it's not Miller's Biofarm when we go on the boardwalk or we go out to eat, like, you know, down the street in Manhattan or, you know, wherever we are. Like, the ice cream store around the corner, it's not a Haagen-Dazs, it's not a Van Leeuwen, it's none of those. It's like some sort of a soft serve ice cream place. It's probably pumped full of seed oils and all sorts of other artificial or like natural flavors and stuff, right? That should like hurt my test, right? Not unless I say it does. It's because, well, like when I go and get ice cream like that, in my head, yeah, I could be focused on the seed oils or the bad ingredients, but what I'm thinking is this ice cream is gonna help lower my cortisol. I'm just here to have fun with my friends. I'm here to have fun with my girl and enjoy this date, having ice cream, right? Like, I don't need to be focused on the ingredients. That's not what matters right now. I was locked in for the last 6 days and like 18 hours. I can chill out for an evening, all right? I can chill out for this once and just focus on the stuff that's gonna help me from this meal, right? You don't wanna be a nitpicker. You don't wanna be a seed oil psycho. You don't wanna be the biohacker that's giving himself the voodoo death, all right? I don't wanna harp on this too much longer. It's also pitch black out here. I'm getting roasted by mosquitoes. I wanna go back inside, but yeah, guys, I hope this resonated. If it did, like and subscribe. Let me know if this is making sense. Like, if this isn't making sense, comment down below. And yeah, like if this is something that you truly want help with, like if you're following me on Instagram at Garrett Salem, by the way, at Garrett_Salem, sorry. If you're following me on Instagram, you're doing the gut bucket, the caveman cereal, you're working out 3 times a week, you're building strength in the gym, you're having fun, you're getting, you know, making some progress, but it's not where you want to be at because there's still something that you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. Maybe it's a mindset issue. Maybe it's like a lifestyle thing. Maybe it's like you got family that you have to adjust your meals for. You got like places to be. There's something is screwing up your progress. If you want personalized help from me, there's going to be a link in the description. You can book a call with me. You can talk to me, not anybody else. It's not going to be my sales guy or some like, you know, call funnel or whatever. Just book a call through the link in the description. It'll ask you a couple of questions. Come talk to me. At the very least, I'll send you in the right direction. All right? But really think about this. Do what you need to do, but know when to call it quits. Know when to stop torturing yourself and stop like setting yourself up for failure. All right? Well, if you enjoyed this video, again, like and subscribe, comment down below. Let me know if you need any help with anything, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.